Dead Scared Entertainment takes pleasure in presenting Verda Darano, a journey into the phantasmagoric lands of folklore, literature, theater, and film. In the centuries-old tradition of the Romani people, we bring to you stories of superstition, fantasy, and adventure. There's no turning back. The Verda approaches.
Latchi Ratyi Miro Amal. Good evening, friend. I am Esma Kalai. Savor the sound of my voice, for where I'm leaving you to fester is somewhere I dare not to spend more than a moment. Let's just say this. This journey takes us to a cave, more precisely, a figurative man cave, deep in the jungle of Chicago.
Latchi Ratyi Verda Darano fans, thank you for joining us yet again on this journey to the phantasms of the spooky, the unbelievable, the adventurous, the exciting, the fantastic. This episode's for the boys. And the reason I say this is because I have with us today two very special guests. I always say all our guests are very special, but this one hits close to home only because I have with me two of my very closest friends today as we dive into the world of the macabre. I have with me Norman and Ruben, my grade school, high school, and college best friends. So, dear listeners, a fair warning. I tell you, beware. This podcast will not be like the others. If that laugh doesn't say it, I don't know what does. So, if you're in for the antics of the Friday the 13th Boys Night episode, buckle up. Boys, how are we doing?
Feeling spooky.
You feeling spooky?
Real festive.
Today is Friday the 13th. We're in the last hours of Friday the 13th. And surprisingly, though, at least for me, this has been a very lucky day for multiple reasons. But the most lucky reason is I get to spend some time with you two. I had to do it.
What the Sigma?
But I want to get first question that I want to get out the door really quick. What are both of your opinions on Friday the 13th? Do you still find that it has that negative sort of connotation? Do you find it to be an unlucky day or what?
Nope.
Nah, Friday the 13th turned into like Valentine's Day. It got like overplayed and like
It's too mainstream now.
no.
You know?
Literally, when I think Friday the 13th, all I think is, oh, every generic mom and pop tattoo shop is gonna be giving $13 tattoos. That's the like. It's not scary. It's not unlucky. It's just another day.
You know, you would think about like all the things that are like super unlucky, you know. Friday the 13th, oh shit, like I can't walk it near any like black cats or ladders, or you know, like I gotta be careful not to accidentally shatter a mirror or something like that. But now it's like people celebrate it. Like it's just a generic holiday. Because, you know, I mean, I feel like Halloween the past few years have become like...
It's huge.
It's huge. It's now become one of those things where people just make it their entire personality. You know?
Yep. Ah, look at this guy.
It's not a bad thing, too, but it's just like... The fact that so many people do it now...
They
it's
do.
Just like, it just feels like another day.
Yeah.
You know, unless something really unlucky happens, and it's like, oh crap, it's because it's Friday the 13th. You stub your toe, Friday the 13th, man. That's bad luck.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Okay, but then that brings up another question. Do you actually believe? What are the things that you believe are bad luck? Like, are there any superstitions you do believe in? Because I know my family has a shit ton.
Oh yeah, well, I'm Filipino, so we're like superstitious as hell.
Of course.
So like, I don't know about you, Ruben.
I mean, I'm superstitious, but when it comes to specifically bad luck, I don't believe in any of that. Like, I used to do it's bad luck to break a mirror, but like, I've broken a few mirrors here and there by accident, nothing's ever happened. Definitely not the black cat one. Black cats are my favorite types of cats. I
Same.
love black cats.
I love
black
kitty
cats only bring good vibes, so there's
They
no
do.
way in my mind they can be unlucky.
True.
I
True.
don't really believe in unlucky like that.
I mean, I do it to some extent. You ever have those like?
I
weird
believe in good
superstitions?
luck.
Like what?
charms.
Like you said, you're
You-
Filipino, so like,
Well, yeah,
what do you guys believe in?
So like, I personally don't believe in any of the generic stuff. Like, oh, you walk under a ladder. I deal with ladders every day at work. I have to go underneath some at like every now and then.
More
It's
of a
like I don't.
safety hazard than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
It's-
sense.
It's no longer bad luck. It's now an OSHA violation.
There you go. That's the ticket right there.
That's what it is for. It's turned into for me. But like, you get like small things. Like you ever make those small superstitions in your head where it's like, oh, if I don't do this by this, that I'll have bad luck for like the rest of the day or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Do you have like an
Like-
example to explain that?
When you open your phone to a fucking picture that says, if you don't send this to 5 close
Well, yeah.
friends,
Yeah,
you're
that's-
going to be cursed forever.
So I'm not exactly that, but
Those
something
use-
like that. Like
Those used to get me.
Or,
I never
like-
sent them out, but I always was like, oh
I
my
would
god.
question it.
The
Maybe.
specter's going to be in my room at 3 a.m. tonight. He's
Well, you
going
ever-
to kill me.
you ever like do something like you're doing a task and you're like, oh, if I don't finish this on the hour by the hour, then I'm gonna have bad luck for the rest of the day. And then like you don't, and you're like nothing happens. And then something bad happens like 7 hours later, and you're like, it's because I didn't do that
the
task by the end of the day, by the hour on the hour.
Yeah.
Like it's those small superstitions that, like, I may sound really weird saying that, but it's those small superstitions. Like I know people who are like really superstitious, like
Yeah.
you can't have mirrors in your room because they see mirrors as like a portal to another dimension. Like, have you heard that?
That's something the Roma do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
I'm with that too. I'm uncomfortable if I have a mirror in my room, like a full big size
Like a
mirror,
full-size mirror?
a full size mirror. If I have that in my room and I can see it from my bed when I'm laying down, that is a no go. I can't.
So do you
It's more
believe
about-
it's
I don't think it's like any kind of portal or anything. It's just like
it's more about the
I
sight.
feel uncomfortable knowing that that's around because like what if I looked at it and I saw some shit?
It's the
like,
imagination thing.
yeah, no, for
Like,
sure.
It's
For
kind
sure.
of like
I-
when you're looking at you're in a empty hallway and you look down and you're like, I feel like if I look too long, something's gonna peek out the corner. Like I feel like that's what you're trying to get at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not uncomfortable around mirrors, but mirrors in the dark, it's like a different story because like I said, I don't believe in bad luck like that, but I'm very superstitious. Like
oh yeah.
being alone in a room at night, like
Uh-huh.
I get the heebie-jeebies.
I mean,
man.
being alone in a room during the day,
Eh.
like depending where you are, like if you're in your house, cool, I can walk around in my underwear.
all
Yeah.
day?
It's my house.
It's nothing.
But
yeah.
like, let's say like you're one of those like adventurous explorers that explore abandoned buildings or all
I
like
want to do that though.
But you do it
That's
during the
dangerous.
day.
I want to
No.
do it at night.
Well,
That's very dangerous.
Well, so I'm saying like if you're doing it during the day,
wild side.
wild side, get out of here.
Shut-
When you explore Chernobyl alone at night, then you tell me. Then these monsters are gonna come get you, and then you're gonna find out it's a government thing, and they're gonna put you in a room with. I'm describing a movie if you couldn't tell, but I think it's because of the unknown, where it's like, I guess that kind of plays into like being scared of the dark. Like you're not scared of being alone in the dark; you're scared of not being alone in the dark. You know what I mean?
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Because everyone, if they're scared of the dark, they always think that there's something else there. It's like, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Like, what are you talking about? There's nothing there.
Okay,
There could be though.
tangent
be.
time. But
Tangent.
no,
Tangent time. Go ahead.
This is Ruben's famous tangent time where we're gonna derail the whole conversation. No, this is actually pretty like in line with what you're saying.
Go for it.
So you're talking about like being in the dark, being uncomfortable, not knowing if you're alone. Uncanny kind of shit, right? How do you feel about dolls? More in line like porcelain dolls than like a Barbie doll.
Go ahead. I have a story about that. You brought up a memory.
Hell no.
Something about them I feel so uncomfortable around.
It's because they're part of the uncanny valley, where they're not real, but they've made just to look really, really close to being real, but not enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's like those weird animations you see, where it's like it looks like it's a real person, but it moves super awkward or weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
AI. Really, truly. No,
porcelain dolls. No, thank
my
you.
grandmother in Detroit, she had a bunch in her room, and whenever we would stay with her, we would stay in her room with her, and I would usually sleep on like a blow-up mattress on the floor, and if I'm not mistaken, see if Raquel was here, she could tell you this better. But I remember one time she ran over to me. She told me, "Pierce, the doll moved." The doll started moving.
Nope.
And this was late at night. So both of my grandmothers were sleeping on the same bed. So they were like on my grandmother's bed, and Raquel and I were sharing the air mattress. And she looked over and she saw the doll started to move. So she was like scared beyond belief. She'll confirm that maybe one day on another one of the podcasts, but for sure. No, I remember as soon as you said porcelain dolls, that's immediately where my brain went.
Dude, I'm telling you, if someone told me, "Hey, the doll moved," I wouldn't even look at the doll. I would literally I would get up, walk out. That's it. I'd walk out. I'm believing you 100% because like I won't mess with that.
That's why I would be a terrible parent. Because if my kid ever said, "Oh, I saw a ghost in my room," I wouldn't be like, "Oh, it's your imagination." I'd be like, "All right, we're leaving. We don't live here anymore. Come on inside, and we're gone." Like.
So you mentioned you grew up with a Filipino family, but what's something that's like in terms of like a very Filipino superstition? That I do want to hear about that.
Superstition.
Yeah, so, superstition or like a belief.
It's the New Year superstition.
Okay, like
you know
what?
I'm talking about?
No, tell me about it.
If you really want a good year, you have to set the table with all these with a specific number of fruits. And like when I was younger, I didn't really understand it. I was like, man, there's a lot of food on this table. A lot of it's fruits. Like, where's like the chicken and the where's all this other food?
Where's
like,
the beef?
I don't want to eat the fruit. And we never ate it because it's not for eating. It's for decoration.
Yeah.
To have a good year, you need to start the new year with I think it's 13, I believe, different fruits on the table.
13 different fruits.
And vegetables.
So like there's a picture on my Instagram.
Okay.
When I got older, I questioned it, and my mom was just like, "You need to have all these different fruits on the table, and it needs to be arranged. It needs to be symmetrical. Like, you need to make sure you are doing this every year, or else you're going to have a bad year." Right? I'm not gonna lie, I had a pretty shitty year this year. I didn't do it on New Year's.
There you go.
I'm just saying,
see? Well, the Roma, what we do is we're not allowed to have anything that has feathers. So, like, we can't have chicken, we can't have turkey.
Oh, really?
No, we can't, because we believe that eating that, or some Roma go as far as that anything that has feathers, like chicken or turkey or anything like that, it's not allowed in the house. Because it's believed at all. Because your luck flies away, in other words.
Oh.
Another thing, what we do is we always put money in our pockets. Some Roma, what they'll do is they'll take like quarters or like nickels or like anything that has silver. Some people do it with gold too, where like at midnight they'll wash their hands in it and they'll wash their face, their body with the money for riches. Now I tried this. This was an old Rom that told me this one. They said put a suitcase by your door around midnight, so then you could spend the rest of the year traveling. And sure enough,
Did you do that?
I've been. In a few more days from now, I'm gonna be on the East Coast too. So it worked.
Oh no, East Coast.
East Coast, because I was already at the West Coast.
Yeah. He's not going to LA. This time he's going to
New York.
Vegas.
I thought
No,
it was
not Vegas. It was one of the three.
Hey,
He
you did the
cycles
same
between-
thing.
he cycles between them.
It's somewhere on the
It's
West
one
Coast.
of them.
He's destined to be somewhere on the
It's
West
going
Coast.
to LA.
Oh no, yeah, I'm dying to go back as soon as possible. Yeah, that's true. Since the
NY.
last time that the Verda Darano listeners have spoken with us and we've all been together, I was in LA. That's for another day in time to be discussed because LA's a lot of fun.
Kind of circling back to what he said, I wanted to chime in, but we were kind
Go
of...
for it.
For New Year's too, the Hispanics, they have something pretty similar. Now, I was kind of young the last time I did these, and I didn't follow it very much. But I remember 13 grapes.
Fair.
Are you about to say under the table?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then something about eating fish, but I hated fish, and it was like always super gross fish. I don't remember what kind of fish it was, so I
Sure.
never ate it. But yeah, just 13, eating fruit under the table. Something
There you
about
go.
bringing in like good
It's-
luck, good health.
It's supposed to be. So some people say it's for good luck. A lot of people have been saying recently that it's for like relationships. Like if you eat 13 grapes underneath the table at midnight, and apparently there's like specific rules where you need to eat all the grapes in the minute, so you're
That's a lot
done
of grapes.
before it hits 12:01. Then you're good.
I could kill that.
It's just grapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now if it was raisins, whew.
No.
So this is another one of my superstitions. I refuse to ever be associated with or near a Ouija board.
Oh
I will not-
Agreed.
Okay.
Anytime someone mentions that, I literally say, "I will leave if you whip one out." Like and it's not a
no.
joke. I
We're all in
refuse
agreement, right? Ouija
Yes,
board's a big
completely.
no-no.
that
Huge no.
in my house,
Gigantic
in my
no.
vicinity. Never.
Dude, we have a like a prop Ouija board in my store,
Ooh.
but it's like a board game. You know what I mean?
But it's
But-
a legit thing.
But it's themed after Wednesday.
Well, yeah, but it still is.
But it's still, and I'm just like, can we just damage these out? Like, I don't want to be near it. I don't want to
Good.
like.
Sorry.
It could be you could put a SpongeBob theme on top of it. You could
They've
put,
done it.
Say
Yeah,
that.
like you could put like a really really childish theme on it. Still no.
Now, I'll even say this. I do have listeners that do enjoy owning those, collecting those, and hey, to each their own. But let's just put it this way. There's a reason why nobody like keeps like lions as a domesticated pet. Because you're most likely going to end up getting injured for some reason.
Yeah.
And obviously,
there are people who do it. You know?
there are people who do it. And they say, oh, as long as you do this and you do that and whatever, then you're fine. But you never know when nature's going to take over.
Oh yeah, that's like the people that own pet monkeys. Like you don't think a monkey's that bad? A monkey can rip your face off. Like
Yes.
legitimately,
Yes.
they go crazy.
But essentially what like I'm the connection I'm drawing is the fact is you're dealing with something that you don't have full understanding and control of. Because I was just watching this other day on TikTok. There was two idiots they brought a Ouija board to a cemetery.
Oh,
Now-
instant.
Red flag.
Stupid. They brought
Distasteful.
it to the cemetery. This guy's playing with it. The planchette's moving. The whole thing's happening. And he gets so afraid he walks away from it and doesn't say goodbye.
Goodbye. Rookie
Dumbass.
mistake.
Doesn't do whatever's
Dumbass.
supposedly supposed to happen. Now, whether this was completely dramatized, I feel like this was like rigged just because of the way it was filmed. But at the same time, I don't put certain things past it because I've heard my own share of crazy Ouija stories. You see the board physically move because they're on the outside of the gate. The board moves to the inside of the gate. like physically moves, and then they go back to the car because they're like, what are we gonna do? You know, like what's gonna happen? They turn around, you see a fire inside the cemetery. They go up to the gate to where the fire's at, the board's on fire. Now again, this could be extremely dramatized, and I believe it too. I feel like that's a little rigged, but at the same time, you never know. Because I've had relatives that have played. Now, mind you, I'm talking about stories from the 50s, to where this was not known. Like, I have relatives that literally lost their minds for a short period of time after playing with the Ouija board. And ever since then, like, very few people, at least that I know of out of my family, have ever even touched it.
You don't mess with it, man. Don't mess with it.
You don't. And if you think you know, are you sure you really know?
Okay, well, on the topic of cemetery,
Ooh.
do you even find... No, this is...
Go ahead.
Do you even find cemeteries, like, spooky? Because
Yes,
I
no.
don't. Not even
100%.
a little bit.
Maybe not during the
Why?
day. Maybe not during the day. It's the imagination factor
Fair.
where it's like you look at one area for too long.
You think you see something?
You think you're eventually gonna think like, I think I see something.
For sure.
Like, and then you look away, you look back, and you're like, it's not there. And now your imagination has 100% taken over.
Yep.
Confirming you 100% saw something. It's just gone now.
Yeah. Cemeteries, I'll say, I don't find them scary whatsoever. I don't find it scary either in the day or at night. If anything, I know now this is where I differ from a lot of like my family, essentially. A lot of the Roma would say, unless you need to go, it's bad luck to go to cemeteries and visit them for fun. Like I've gone, admittedly, like with friends, also on dates. I went to cemeteries and
That's wild, man.
it's fun.
That's wild.
It's very scenic. It's very scenic depending on which ones you go to. But also, I grew up with a family that, because of how gigantic the family was and how many funerals I've been to in my life, my relationship with cemeteries and like the dead in general, it's very different. Roma, it's like either you're terrified of them or it's like, oh, they're here, you know? It's just, I guess it's because of how many family members I've known closely have passed on and are now like to rest in like either here or especially like in Detroit. For me, it's like a nothing. So like for cemeteries and me, it's a whatever, you know. But I've even went at night. The scariest thing about cemeteries at night is the potential, depending on where you go, is coyotes.
I can see that. See, like during the day, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But at night, I can't do at night, man. I don't know how you do it.
It's peaceful.
Yeah.
See, you agree. It's peaceful.
He'd be scared of any place at night.
Yeah,
The
honestly.
woods at night.
Yeah.
Like an abandoned hospital
it's
at night.
the unknown. It's like not knowing what... I like to know things.
It's fair.
So, like, being in a place where I don't know, hey, like, this building could be empty, but it might not be. I'm out.
But see, when it comes to that kind of thing, I wouldn't even be scared of anything paranormal. I'd just be scared of like a homeless guy,
like an actual
shanking
man.
me. Like
Yes.
I wouldn't be scared
Yes.
of like a ghost grabbing me.
That's included. in, that's still included
Squatters,
in, like,
you know?
why I
Of
don't
course.
like being there. Like,
That's fair.
I don't want to be shanked.
But you've been to cemeteries even for, I'm guessing, for fun too now, right or not?
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
you go to cemeteries to mourn. You don't go to cemeteries to have fun. You're there to pay respects.
Yes.
You're not there to
Well, I'm not-
goof around.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm doing cartwheels between the graves.
You might be.
Hey, check this out. Like,
Doing
And then he
parkour.
falls over and
Off
knocks
the
the
statue.
headstone down.
Well, no, I'm
So
not saying I'm
bad.
like skipping through or something. Like there's still a level of reverence, you
yeah,
know.
not you, but you know there are
Yeah,
teenagers
but people,
who
of
go
course.
and do dumb
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah,
like
of
play with
course.
Ouija boards
Well,
or
so
just graffiti it.
well, that's why cemeteries
that's
are
the shitty
usually
part.
open early morning and then close
Close
around like
during-
4 or 5.
Yeah, they close at sunset usually.
Yeah.
Unless you find a hole in the gate. That's the trick.
You know what that means? That means they're not keeping up with it like they say they are.
Exactly. So the big takeaway from today's episode is cemeteries, get on your shit.
Like, you ever see those posts where it's like, oh, you get paid $500 an hour to clean the cemetery overnight from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m.
That's peak
It's
hours.
like super creepy, super foggy. Like, who's the one person you're bringing with? And I'm instantly just like, dude, if I was with one of you two, like, we'd be laughing the entire time.
Oh yeah.
Imagine
Like,
the three of
oh,
us cleaning
it
a
would
cemetery all
would
night.
be scary.
That'd be
Like-
hilarious.
Like,
Yeah.
we'd be trying to scare each other,
Oh, completely.
and we'd be laughing about it
I'd be-
when we realize, oh, okay, like, it's just them.
I'd be dusting with like a skeleton arm holding the duster.
You'd hear
I'd be
me.
like,
You'd hear me.
"Oh, I
between
can't
the
reach.
days.
Let me just.
That scene from Deadpool.
Yes.
Where you're just carrying
With
around a
cleaning
skeleton.
supplies. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Nah, we'd have a blast. We'd have a blast with that.
See, like, again, if you're with the right people, it's not as scary.
Would you
but,
do it
like-
alone?
Fuck no. You kidding me?
I'd do it alone.
No. Ugh.
You know where I wouldn't work alone? The morgue. At night.
Oh no.
No, that
Ooh.
one's creepy.
That
No,
one's.
no.
Because you're in close proximity.
Uh-huh.
Truly, there's no 6 feet
Hey,
between
man, I've
you.
played too many Resident Evil games. Where you got to go into a morgue and you got to find an item from one of the little drawers that they store
Drawers?
the body.
Drovers. Yes.
And every time they open one, something pops out. It's too many times, man.
Too
Yes.
No
many.
thank you.
What are your favorite things about the season? Do you have a specific memory that always like is that you go back to? Like when you think Halloween, like where does your mind go? What are your thoughts about it?
I think of November 1st. When all the candy is on
Have
clearance.
That's a very adult way to think.
That is.
Yeah, we're all-
And you save it for Christmas and Valentine's
Yeah.
Day.
Oh yeah, you're eating that candy.
Dude, that
well
candy's
into
good
the
till next year.
I'm still eating Count Chocula from last
Yeah.
year.
There you go.
Because all the clearance, man. $1 candy? You kidding me?
It's like that.
Give me the Starburst, dude.
It's like that after
Shit.
Valentine's Day.
So okay, tell me your favorite as trick or treating wise. What were your favorite candies to receive,
Oh,
and what were the worst?
Dude, I love eating a Crunch Bar and there being a razor blade inside. I love that as a kid. Obviously joking.
The slice of life.
No, I love all the the weed gummies people would give out. You know, every other
No,
house would be giving out weed gummies.
Which house did you go to?
Dude,
Why didn't you call
That's
me?
one of the
No.
funniest
Every-
beliefs parents have. Like the razor blade one, fine, whatever. But like people just giving kids drugs.
Yeah.
You know how expensive drugs are? Drugs aren't free. Who
Yeah.
just has money to be giving kids drugs all night?
They just they want everyone to have a good time.
Mm.
But you see, you're going to the houses that give weed gummies. As a kid, dude, the best houses were the ones that gave out those little toys from the dollar, from Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, like Dollar General. You ever go to a house, trick or treat? Hey, here's a little toy water gun. And then whoever you're with, you get a water gun, and then you have like a little water fight.
What?
Keep going. Sorry,
Like
I remembered something.
It's the little toys. My favorite thing I've ever gotten for Halloween, trick or treating. I think Ruben, you remember this. Trick or treating at the rich people neighborhood. Those who man,
Duh.
trick or treating at the rich people neighborhood. Walk up to a very nice decorated house, but it's like one of those modern bougie houses.
Sure.
Like it's got the metal railing. The house is a rectangle. Like it's not one of those like slanted roof, like triangle roof houses.
Yeah.
It's a flat roof house. Super modern. The entire living room is just all windows. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Walked up. The door was open
Yep.
and all the lights were on. And I looked inside. I'm like, trick or treat. And there's just a little girl just right there next to the couch. She's not dressed up or anything, but she's playing with Play-Doh. And she's got an entire pallet next to her, like from Costco, of Play-Doh. And I was like, oh, trick or treat. And she's like, what color do you want? And I'm like, no way you're giving out Play-Doh. And I'm like, blue. And she just grabs one of those small blue Play-Doh tubs, gives it to me. And I'm like, this is one of the greatest houses I've ever gone to.
Yes.
You ever go to a house expecting candy? And then you get something like Play-Doh, dude? Like, it caught me so off guard.
Yeah.
I just remembered a peak Halloween memory that I would love to share with all you viewers listening at
Please
home.
do.
All right.
Please do.
So, I can't tell you, I think maybe 7th, 8th grade. I can't remember exactly. But elementary school, Halloween, I was dressed up as a cow.
Yeah.
Like,
What?
legit, yeah, I had udders. I had a girl compliment my udders. It was great.
Ruben, I like your udders.
I was hanging out with a group of people that I think I only ever hung out with that one time. It was a very I don't even know how it came to be, but trick-or-treating, I'm dressed up as a cow. For some reason, get dared to go into the CVS and get condoms. Now, mind you, I am like a 7th grader.
I wasn't with you, but I remember this story.
I
Continue.
go into the store with a girl, and we just go up and we ask them for condoms because they were like locked up. Like we couldn't just
How I
grab them.
regret I wasn't at this party.
I don't
Let me
know
tell you,
if there's
man.
laws against it or if they have to, but just imagine. And we were kids. We looked like kids.
Children.
We were 7th graders. You do the age. I always get mixed up, but we were young.
13?
Yeah.
12,
Maybe
13?
even 12. Imagine, and I'm dressed up as a cow. She's
Dude,
not
I
dressed
remember
up.
you were
But
so proud. You were
we
like,
go in there, we ask for condoms. They look at us, and I just go, "Oh, we need them for a science experiment." And they give us the condoms, and we walk away with a victory. And then we just wasted them. We like put them on people's doorknobs so that when they would open their door, they'd.
they were like lubed condoms,
Yeah.
so like,
These are some great stories. I'm over here like, what's your
Absolutely,
favorite candy? Well, what was your favorite candy? Let's talk about Play-Doh and condoms.
dude, like,
You asked about Halloween.
I know,
memories.
I
That's a
know.
Halloween
It's good.
memory.
It's- no, that's fair. That's fair.
Then we'll answer his question. What is your favorite candy to get?
Candy. So it has to be chocolate, but it's a really hard to define
Really?
which
Chocolate?
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
I do like a
every
little
day.
dance every time someone gives me Starburst.
Nah, I love
You know what
gummy
I
and I
mean?
love fruity, but chocolate, especially for
You're
Halloween.
talking if it's berries and cream.
There's a cream. There's a cream. No, it's probably Crunch or Twix. Those are very
Yeah,
safe.
Crunch is
Crunch is
are
great.
Really
I love
Halloween
crispy
Crunch
rice.
is good.
I love crispy rice. But I'll tell you my least favorite, and it wasn't even the worst, because there's been some licorice in there, especially black licorice. Whoever
How do you
gave
guys
that out
feel
for
about
Halloween,
the Whoppers.
you're
How do you feel about
I
the
like
Whoppers?
Whoppers.
Whoppers are, it
Yeah,
depends.
right?
I'll eat
Like
Whoppers.
average, you know what I mean?
for me, it's
They're not
candy corn.
great.
I hate.
Oh, those are,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
terrible.
You can't eat
Terrible.
that stuff. It's like
It's gross. It's
Yeah.
literally like plastic. We're eating wax.
Honestly, if it's not branded, I won't eat it.
Oh, yeah, true.
If it's one of those like knockoff candies
Yep.
that people get for super cheap because they
Like when you go to the
totally-
dollar store.
Yeah, you
Yep.
know, like you could tell that this person forgot to buy candy, so they bought it the day of.
Yup.
But obviously, all the good stuff is gone because
Yep.
people bought them ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like those candies are like the worst.
Whenever I would see the name Palmer on on the wrapper, toss. I went to sort of like a semi-rich neighborhood out in like the burbs, and one person had their car. It was like they had like a really nice like display in general outside, but they had in the front and passenger seats, they had two like costume dummies, right? So I walked. Now I was a little kid, so I was like nervous because I see like the masks. You could see that there's like somebody sitting in the car, and there's two of them. So you're like, there's a good chance at least one of them is a person, right? Mind you, you're so busy staring at the front, you don't realize that the windows roll down in the back seat, and somebody just comes out. Ah! I was
It's the
fucked.
misdirection.
I was done.
Misdirection?
I was done.
I think
she's a
that's
babe.
that's probably the best misdirection I've seen. I think the only one that I've seen that's like been as good as that was they had like these dummies in their yard
Yeah.
on like the left side, and then they have this like bed of flowers on the right side.
Yeah.
But you know, you're like, oh, look at these decorations. The dude was in a ghillie suit, laying down
Nice.
on the bed of flowers, acting
Nice.
like bushes. And as you're looking to the left, he would jump out, like at you. He wouldn't like grab you, because I remember like when I talked to him about it, he was saying like, oh yeah, like I don't want any like legal things
Lawsuits,
or, like,
yeah.
lawsuits of me like grabbing little children. And I'm like, that's a valid point. But he would still jump out and like scare you. But when I went, I was like, oh hey dude, what's going on? Because I was just fascinated by the decorations of the house.
That reminds me, sort of a tangent. Years ago, I was at like a haunted maze by Rob Zombie. It was amazing. There was like multiple haunted houses that were set up in this gigantic maze, and they were all connected.
Did you have to go through every single one?
Yeah, in order to like,
That's so cool.
it was so much fun. And I went with cousins. And I was in the front because that reminds me, anytime I go to a haunted house, I end up in the front. And you remember that as well.
Hey, let's
Mind you,
sing.
you're shaking in your boots,
Let's
singing Mulan.
let's sing. Get us through it.
The best is there was a point in time where I was so interested in the decorations. I remember you guys are singing and going, nah, 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 nah. I don't even remember the words.
Look,
I'm like, whoa, this
man,
is cool.
If it's a haunted, like now, if it's a haunted house or a haunted corn maze or something like that, and they can't touch you, that's like, that's not fun for me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because at that point, I just walk being like, oh, you think you're scary? Don't touch me or I'm going to sue. Like, it's not,
Yeah.
it doesn't have the scare factor.
Of course.
But ones where you got to sign, like an
Yep.
actual legal document, like, oh, I will not sue if the actor like grabs my arm or something. Like that crap is like, okay, that's next level. Like that would be fun.
Mhm.
But I'm too much of a little scaredy cat to
But I'll say
do that.
the one thing you said about the misdirection with the ghillie suit. So we're going through the mazes, and there was like some really wild ones. There was one based on his cartoon El Super Bisto. If you have not seen that, watch El Super Bisto. It is an adult, raunchy ass cartoon with just monsters. It takes place in like this monster world, partly hell, drugs, sex, violence. Amazing. Great cartoon. I think it's on Tubi, if I'm not mistaken. It's worth watching. So we went through that, and then we go to like sort of like this like French, almost like Louisiana, New Orleans sort of courtyard area. And there's this guy walking around like in like the line to like enter that space, essentially. And he's like in a top hat, and everyone's focused on him, right? Little did I know, I wasn't paying attention. Mind you, I went through this whole maze, unfazed whatsoever, but like amazed at like the production of everything around me.
You're probably walking around being like, look at the makeup on this.
So I didn't notice in the corner there was like a bush like on the wall, like ivy growing on the wall. Next thing I know, this guy in the suit he doesn't even touch me. He just goes, oh. I'm like, oh. It got me great. I was so happy. I told him afterward, I said, thank you. I told him, thank you.
It's always the ones that like try the least.
Exactly, because you
I
don't
feel like
expect it.
You always expect someone to come out of like a corner and be like, ah! Or like, "Ah!"
Exactly.
But you said the fact that he came out of just bushes, going,
Now, wait. Now, we've talked about our experience. Have you had any crazy experiences in a haunted house? Like, how do you feel about them?
I don't even think I've done a corn maze, but I don't think I've ever done an actual haunted house.
Well, you're
I'm
getting
not
it this
really
year.
for like the ones where they can grab you, because I don't get scared. I'm just like, why are you touching up all on me? Like it sucks. Like you chase me around with a prop chainsaw or even a
That's
real
great.
chainsaw. That's fine. I'll get scared. I'll have a good time. But just like, oh, you're gonna grab me and like Ooh, like
That's
Yeah.
like but see, that's the trick to haunted houses though. If you act like if you like are scared, and you're like showing that you're scared, they're gonna target you. Like, because I remember when we went to that
it's like
court.
in high school.
Get out of here. Because when we were at that corn maze, I remember at the end that like when we were waiting in line, the end of it has some guy with a fake chainsaw chasing you out, and we would see it in line, and I like made a mental note of that. So when we got near the end, and I see like the parking lot and everything, and it's just a long stretch of corn, I'm like, this is the end. And then that mental note kicked in, and I'm like, where's the guy with the chainsaw? We're not being chased out. And I'm just like, okay, that's probably further up ahead. Like, it's coming. Like, be prepared. Walked up, and we just hear the chainsaw rev behind us. And, like, I'm with, like, three other people because we had split up at that point because it was a corn maze, you know? Like, we all decided to go different directions, which was a horrible idea, by the way, because we got lost. But everyone that I was with ran out screaming. And I'm just like, it's a fake chainsaw. He ain't gonna kill me. Like, he touches me, he bumps into me, I'm suing. And everyone that ran, he ran right past me. Didn't even acknowledge me because I was still walking. I was just enjoying my time. And I'm not gonna lie, it sounds boring, not like being scared of running, but I enjoyed watching him chase everyone else. Like,
Of course.
it was fun to watch. Like, it's like being there, but like being a bystander. You know what I mean? Like, it was fun. It was so much fun. So,
Yeah.
it's not as bad when I punched that one lady, though.
I think this is a good part of the show. We should take a moment to pause and tell the people to go to our store, right?
I think, yeah, now's about the time.
Do you think they know?
I don't think they know. How are they going to go to the store? They don't even know what we got. They don't know that we got shirts, we got mugs, we got hoodies, we got crew necks, we got stickers, and we got greeting cards.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff.
And prints too.
Yeah, I bet
Too
they
much.
like it.
I think they would like it.
I figure if they listen to this,
They probably would want
then
some
they
of the
would
merch.
probably want what we have on our website.
website.
So
Gotta head to deadscaredentertainment.com. That's deadscaredentertainment.com because they'll forget this.
yeah,
We can
This
always
would
make
be-
a commercial
we
about
should
it.
make a commercial.
We should make a
about
commercial about it.
it. But
Nah, this ain't gonna work.
yeah,
All right.
it's all right.
This was like before I went into haunted houses with that whole mentality of like, oh, if you touch me, I sue.
Yeah.
Like, it was before all that.
Yeah.
So I would like scream, I'd jump at like every single corner. I'd like shiver in my boots, being like,
Shiver in his
when
boots.
is the end of this?
That's the
Timmy?
new
When
one.
is the end of this? And we got
It's
to, we passed the corner, we got to the end. It's a clear shot.
Yeah.
It's the door to the exit, and it's wide open. You can see the fair, you can see the rides, you can see like the people like the bystanders walking around. And I'm like, oh, it's done. There's no doors, there's no like windows on the side for people to pop out at. There's no decorations on the side. It's just a plain empty hallway, one entrance, one exit. And I'm like, oh, we're done. This is the end of it. It's very fair quality. Like, this is the end of it. Like, they didn't have enough in the budget to decorate the end of it. Like, something you'd expect from a fair. I booked it. I started jogging to the end. I get to the door. It's wide open. I get to the door frame right before I walk out. This girl in a bride outfit with blood all over with a ton of makeup on pops out from the door frame. I got so freaked out, punched her right in the face.
Oh,
Like, because at that point I was just so ready to leave. Ran like I'm jogging, bah, right in the face, and it's like one of those like raised haunted houses because it's like it's a fair, so it's one of those mobile ones. So at the end is a staircase going down. Popped right in the face. She falls back, rolls down the stairs, and like one of the officials comes out from the side. He's like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean." At that point, like the moment I saw her roll down the stairs, all like fear got lifted off, and I got brought back to reality. being like, oh my God, I'm going to get banned from this place. I've never gone back, but I'm just like, I'm going to get banned from this place because I just socked that lady in the face. She's actual, that's real blood now. It's her blood. Like, she's bleeding from her nose. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to. And she got up. Like, she got up right away. She was covering her nose. And she was like, no, it's okay. Like, I knew it was a possibility when I signed up for this.
She said, third time today.
Basically.
Honestly, that's basically what it sounded like. But she was like, no, like, it's okay. Like, I totally expected something like this might happen. I knew it was a possibility when I signed up to be a scare actor. And the guy's just like, are you like the official?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, let's get you to the back. Let's get you cleaned up. She's like, at least like some of this blood is real now. And she's like walking away, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. And the people that I was with was like, dude, what the hell's your problem, man? Like, dude, you do not jump at me. Like, don't jump at me. I will punch you. That's why whenever like we do escape rooms now, I always have to say, hey, is anyone going to jump out? Because there's a chance I might sock you in the face. So, I'm telling you, jump scare me. My people have there's a fight or flight reaction. People have that run. I have that. I'm punching you dead square in the face if you scare me.
Dead squared entertainment.
I think it's fair to say that we all believe that there are things that we can't explain. There are things beyond our comprehension when it comes to ghosts, entities, demons, aliens. Obviously, we're all in agreement that these things do exist.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to hear about your stories, but it seems like you're eager to get us started. Ruben,
you are.
take us
That's not
there.
paranormal.
Take us there.
All right.
This is a
We'll
paranormal.
get into the paranormal in a second, but I've been sitting on this story. It's very fitting for the mood in the spooky season. It's very macabre. It's very real. This is real.
Good.
I am going to regale you all in the first time that I ever saw a dead body.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's a good story. It's a
Go
weird
for it.
story. Okay. I had just moved to Florida, like 5th grade. Brand new to a brand new school, starting off the school year right at the beginning. I have a homeroom teacher. I can't remember her name, but she was a great woman. Only had her as my homeroom teacher for a month, because after that month, she died. This is a Catholic school, and they decided during school hours, like mandatory, everyone had to go, they had an open casket for her. So this was my first time.
School?
Yes.
Really?
A whole school from 1st grade to 8th.
Was she an older woman?
No, she was maybe in her 50s.
What kind of school?
Not that old, but not that young. She was
what
just...
kind of school would have a
It was
wake?
a Catholic school too.
With
they had a
what?
wake with
all the
open
students?
casket with the entire school. And that is the first time that I saw a flesh and blood dead body. Didn't really even have a choice either. Like, it was just like
I was about to say, that's kind of messed up.
yeah, isn't
like,
that
that's
crazy?
Strange.
That is the first time.
Huh.
Yeah.
Who's the principal? Who's the principal? I want to know.
Were they wearing overalls?
No.
That's so weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Now, but think
And I
about it.
only
with
knew
the
her for a month,
With
too.
the teachers
Like, this
and the
is-
professors, I can understand if they would be like invited to the wake and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like the students, like the first grade, like the little kids
the
who can't
whole school.
comprehend, you know what I mean?
The
Like,
whole school.
that's weird.
Because we've been invited to like our fair share of like funerals for like
Yeah,
people that have either were like teachers or even like students.
yeah.
You know. What about you, Norman? You got anything worth sharing?
I mean, aliens. Yeah. I mean, you should know.
Of course, I
Yeah,
should know about
man.
aliens.
Aliens, they are real.
They are real.
Yeah, they
Dude, no,
they
we
won't
were.
stop crossing the damn border.
Get out of here! Stop! Stop! No, No, yeah, man. Aliens. I 100% believe in aliens. I mean, it's like even before what happened to us. Like, not saying that we're probed or anything, but
No.
before that, like that whole event that happened, I 100% believe that there's something else out there. Like,
Of course.
to believe that we like with how infinite the universe is and how big space is, and thinking we're the only like life form. Obviously, like what's happened here has to have happened somewhere else. It could be billions of light years away.
Exactly.
It's 100% a possibility that there could be more intelligent life out there too. But when what happened to us, because you don't know, we were by the lake, and we were with like 4 or 5 other people. But you and me, we split off. Everyone split off. We did our own thing.
We were with 2 other people because they were having a little romantic moment because it was somebody's last days in Chicago.
Yeah.
So we gave them space.
And, you know, it wasn't like things weren't official, like, but you can tell things were.
Things were official.
No, things were not. They
were.
There were no titles on it because she was still with him.
Oh,
There was
yeah.
no title, but things were happening.
She was a little Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a night.
Yeah.
So
But
we
that
went
night,
off.
We decided to go to the lake.
Yeah.
And it was their last night that they were going to spend together. So me and Pierce decided, let's give them some space. We'll go off and do our own thing. So they went one way, we went the other. The other way was like a mini like forest area that
That's
the lake
right.
has. It's really weird. It's not that big. It's maybe like 100 feet in diameter.
It's like one of those like little bird or nature sanctuaries. Yeah.
And they have trails, and sunset already happened, so it's pretty dark.
It was pitch dark in
yeah.
some places.
So we were walking through on the trail, and the sun fully set at that point, and it started getting dark, and we were like, hey, let's like walk towards the lake. Granted, it's small enough where you can't get lost. You could, like, if you look hard enough, you can see cars and you can see the skyline and all that stuff. But we decided to walk to the lake, and the lake has a walkway, so you can like enjoy it. Some people ride their bikes on it, and we were walking down, and one of us was talking about something, but we decided to both simultaneously just look at the sky.
Yeah.
And we just see a zip right across the sky, a green light just straight across the sky.
It was, now you remember, it went east. So it went shot straight out towards like Michigan.
Yeah. It was just a straight green light zipping straight across the sky. Super bright, straight across. And we stopped talking, stopped moving. We looked at each other. And at that point, we had realized you saw it too. You totally. And we were like, "Did you see that?" He's like, "You saw it too?" Yeah. And in that moment, we both looked at each other and said, "Fucking aliens."
We did.
It's aliens. It has to be aliens.
We got so excited.
We were excited. We were like, "Oh my gosh, they're real." We just saw that. Like, and someone else witnessed what we just saw. So we're not crazy. And ever since then, it's 100%. Granted, like, obviously thinking about it, it's probably like satellite debris or something like that burning up.
Nah.
No, it's totally
aliens.
But like when we got back, we were like, "You're not gonna believe what we just saw," and they thought we were crazy.
Oh, completely.
But it was the fact that there's someone else who also saw it. We 100% are fully going into it's aliens.
Mind you, they're all lovey-dovey. They're having like this moment, and we come back like if we're 2 kids out of a fucking candy store. We're like, we saw aliens. It was in the sky. It was green.
Like, we were really close to having aluminum foil tin hats.
Basically,
like, we were that close
on the lake.
Dude, it's aliens. Aliens are 100% real. Like,
yes.
If it was debris, it would have been a lot quicker. But no, it was a long stretch of green. But no, that can't be debris. Like, it wouldn't be like that. Like, how do you guys feel about nightmares? Because I feel like if the nightmare is
Does the nightmare
intense
leave?
enough-
Does it leave the dream in any way?
Well, yeah. So like if the nightmare is intense enough to the point where you jolt awake, but it still feels like it's happening. Like, you would assume that that's like a spiritual encounter, or do you cut that off at like how do you feel about dreams and nightmares?
To give you an example, I've told this on the podcast before, but I'll paraphrase it. I had a dream I was at the Woodfield Mall with my sister, and we were just walking through past the Rainforest Cafe. And as we're walking past it, this creature in the form of a man, but I could tell it wasn't a man. It was a silhouette, just completely black, void of light, reached out at me with like a clawed hand, reached out at me and started strangling me, like choking my neck.
How long ago was this?
Well, this was years and years ago.
Because the story that I was about to tell is very, very similar.
Good. So then this will make sense, because I woke up out of my dream,
Out of
jolted
breath.
out of breath completely. Like if someone literally choked me.
Wait.
Hold on.
Wait.
This is real, folks. And then what happened is I went in the bathroom because I'm like, that was intense as hell. I go to the bathroom. I look in the mirror. I have finger marks on my neck. Literal, like a handprint on my neck.
Okay. So
tell yours. Tell yours.
I was just, it was in this room,
Yeah.
sleeping, right? And I had this, and you know, like when you have dreams or nightmares, when you wake up, you sort of forget
Yeah.
like the details. I remember all the details on this one. I was in just a room. It seemed like an apartment. It seemed like my own apartment. I remember the layout completely, 100%. I remember where the couch was, where the TV was, where the door to the hallway was, where the door to the closet was. I remember all of it. I was sleeping in the living room of this apartment, right? I was on the bed, napping. And obviously, if I'm sleeping, it still feels real because my body's laying down, like I'm like on some sort of bed couch thing, and that's what my body's in real life doing. Like, I remember waking up in the nightmare, like a nightmare with like a dream within a dream. The nightmare, I woke up to some black figure with claws, like, but it was a silhouette, but it was like a strainy silhouette,
Okay.
like it was like he was like made of static, you know. But it was a full black silhouette, and it was like blurred out and all that kind of stuff. Like you couldn't make out who it was or what it looked like. But it was a black figure strangling me while I was lying down. Like I woke up out of breath in the dream. I woke up out of breath to someone strangling me, and I'm like, what the fuck? What? And to the point where my real life body stopped breathing. And you know how, like, if you go up to someone sleeping and you cover their nose, their body instantly wakes up from, like, the dream or nightmare? Or, like, if you pour water on someone, they'll wake up instantly. I woke up instantly because I stopped breathing. I woke up gasping, like, ugh! And I'm like, what the hell was that? I was sweating. I was fully out of breath. And I'm like, that's creepy. And then, like, maybe an hour later, my neck was fully sore. Like, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't check for marks because I think at the time I was like super like creeped out because at that point I had still remembered everything that happened.
Huh.
And in my head, I'm like,
But
usually for dreams and things like this, I would forget
Yeah.
like what happened. But I remember the details. I remember like what was hanging on the wall. And you know, part of me like had gone through possibilities. Like, did I just see into the future of like my own death?
Have you had any paranormal experiences that or things that you can't explain that maybe feel past like this realm?
I mean, so I'll say this much. I've always felt like really like in tune with that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Like I've had a few times where I felt off in a place, and then I would literally, without like any prompt, I'd just be like, "Has anyone ever died here?" And they always say yes. I don't know if they're messing with me or but I've had those feelings where I'm like the air feels weird.
Like
here.
you feel something's there.
Like I've
So like,
always felt,
when you say the air feels weird, what do you mean?
I don't know. You could just sense it in the. I don't know how to explain it. I've always felt very like
feel the
sensitive
aura
to
of something
paranormal.
else.
Yeah.
So like I'm very much a believer. But I will tell you a few experiences I had that I don't really remember. I was a kid, which once again this goes into like more word of mouth. I don't know exactly if it
That's
happened.
fair.
But I was living in my family's restaurant because it's one building, bottom's the restaurant, above it's apartments.
Yeah.
And basically, apparently there was a ghost in there because when I was younger, it used to play with me. Not like that. No P. Diddy. So, on the real though, like, I had this ball, right? And the apartment, it's basically like one massive long hallway. Like, it's a very long hallway. Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I like picked you up from there and you asked me to come inside, check out your room, I did, and like that hallway creeped me out.
Yeah, it's legitimately how long would you say? It's a very long hallway. It's like,
dude, it's about like at least 50 to 100 feet.
Yeah, I'd say about 100 feet. It's literally one hallway, and then it's just rooms branching off.
That's like how my house is set up.
But it's literally 100 feet long hallway, and then just room.
You ever watch what's that zombie movie? The Spanish Wreck.
Yeah.
You ever see those apartments where it's just one long hallway?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know what he's talking about. Yeah.
What makes it creepier is that the staircase is like that, but thinner.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you stand at the top of your staircase, because like his that old apartment, like it's a spiral staircase, but at the top there's a little like balcony area, so you can peek over and like look down. So it looks like the staircase from Wreck.
Wow.
Like the moment I walked in there, I was like, this place is kind of fucking creepy. Like,
yeah.
At night, I don't like this crap at night.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, anyways.
So the hallway.
Yes. So it's very, very long hallway. Well, apparently I've been told that as a child, I would have a ball and I would roll it down the hallway. And maybe this was jazzed up to be a little bit spookier, but they always said that it's such a long hallway and we didn't have the lights always on, so they always said they couldn't see the end of the hallway. It was just a black shadowy area, and the end of the hallway is basically two rooms, and it kind of like does a V shape, so the wall kind of goes like that.
Yeah.
So if you threw a ball at it, it wouldn't necessarily come back as easy. It might get caught up on those walls.
On the walls,
and also I'm a little kid rolling a ball. I'm probably not rolling it that hard.
You don't have the strength.
They would tell me that I would roll it down this long hallway, and it would roll back to me all the time. And then there's other stories that I would have these, like I had a little fake guitar toy. You press the button, it plays a pre-recorded riff.
Yeah.
They told me one time that they heard it going off in the middle of the night. So they went in there, and it kept going off. It wouldn't stop going off, so they took the batteries out. And then they would still hear it going off at night, even with the batteries not in it.
Damn.
So that's about the most like direct paranormal I've had, but I don't fully remember any of it because I was so young.
That makes sense because I've had similar experiences. Now this was back, I can't remember if this was back in Detroit or if this was here in Chicago, but my parents chalk it up to angels. This is what they believe. But they told me a story that I would constantly, like sometimes, basically I would wake up in the middle of the night and I'd start talking to something, sit up, fully wide awake, talking to like what was supposed to be like another child or something. And they said one time I was just laughing, and then from nothing I just bust out crying, like as if like something like hit me, and that I got up from the bed and started running towards the corner of the room, and I was screaming and I was like crying towards the like top corner of the bedroom because whatever it was flew off into the corner of the room. Now, I believe that because this is one thing that they do say in general is that spirits usually hang out in the corners of the rooms. So like for me, I always, if say for example, I'm blessing a room or like just in general, like if I feel something's off, I always sign the cross in every corner of the room because that's where things like to hang out. So I've had experiences similar to yours. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Go for it. Go
this
for
is
it.
something that I've never talked about to anybody ever in my entire life. This is real.
Go for
This
it.
is not a joke.
Go for it.
I've never told anybody this. I don't think it's paranormal. It might be like hallucinatory, like optical illusion type shit.
Sure.
So I know like an hour ago I mentioned how I'm uncomfortable with mirrors
That's
in,
right,
in
you
a
did.
room. I'm also uncomfortable with pictures of people's faces. Not like a group photo or anything, but like more like a portrait, like a big, like a school photo where you're like the main subject and it's just a picture of you.
Sure.
When I lived in Florida, and I've lived in Florida here and there my whole life, but when I was younger and I was living in Florida, I was in a room and they had decorated where they put like all these little pictures of me, you know, here's me 2 years old propped up against like a giant very niche, like, what is it, like Macy's photos, like
JCPenney.
JCPenney, there we go.
JCPenney.
But-
I think we all did
but
that.
here's the thing. When I would be alone at night or even sometimes in the day, it just had to be a little dark and I was alone in the room, I would look at these photos and I shit you not, like this is real. I would see them moving. Like legitimately.
Like
And
Harry Potter, like pictures moving.
not like crazy, but I would see like the mouths moving, like they were talking.
Okay, that's different.
And it's not just in Florida. I've had this happen anywhere. I can't say I've had it happen anytime recently. Maybe pre-high school is the last time I can remember it happening. I don't know if there's like something with my brain. I seriously can look at a photo from a distance.
Okay.
And if I look at it in the right lighting for long enough, I can see the mouth move or the eyes blink. Like, I've never looked into this and seen if anyone's
Damn.
ever had that kind of... It's just something that's, like, scared the shit out of me, and I just chalked it up to, like, crazy, overactive imagination. Like, I don't think they're actually moving, but I'm like, I can see it. Like, I can see it. Like, when you look at those pictures... of optical illusions where it's like a static picture of like a spiral.
Yeah,
right?
but it'll
move. It'll move.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's,
yeah, yeah.
it's a static picture that's not moving. It's not a video,
Yeah.
but your brain sees it and it says, "Oh yeah, that's moving." It's like that, but I can do it with like pictures of people's faces.
That's crazy.
So very, very uncomfortable sleeping
creepy.
with like photos around.
Yeah. Now this one, I will say, I'll paraphrase this, but if you'd like a more detailed version of this story,
Subscribe to his Patreon.
I was hitting not Patreon, TikTok.
OnlyFans?
That's the other one. Don't tell them about that one. Shh, don't say about the OnlyFans.
Back to his TikTok. For
To
the
my-
full length story. For part 2.
Yes, for part 1 and part 2 of that story. So if you
Now,
Part 4 coming soon.
So if you go on my TikTok, it's the pinned video called "The Ghost Girl in the Basement." The reason
yeah, man.
Okay.
Ghost girl in the basement that is like in love with you.
yes.
Uh-huh.
So to paraphrase the story, my basement is my whole property is haunted, but in particular in the basement. When we kicked out our last tenants because they were doing some very nefarious and very bad things down there, rightfully so, that were not supposed to be done. Once we kicked them out, The basement was my domain. I used to go down there to practice a lot, chill out, hang out with friends. But I noticed that when I would be down there alone, especially if I was recording music or something, I always felt as though I was being watched and I wasn't alone. And for some reason, very much like you, Ruben, I was very sensitive sort of to these sort of energies. And for some reason, this energy came off to me as this like young teenage girl. And the way I visually saw her and the way that my ex described her, because my ex seen her on Halloween night years ago, was that this girl was sort of had like a dirty blonde hair and like this Victorian sort of lace dress. And I remember her like she had like black stockings and like these black shoes, but then it was battered. Like she looked like she had bruises and then she was dirty. And she had like these deep eyes. So not too long ago, actually, I take that back, on my birthday, we're just getting like the dining room set up. They just put the cake down on the table, and my little brother, Colin, he, for some reason, something told him to go look on my TikTok. And he says, "What's this about a girl in the basement?" I said, "Don't watch that. You're not going to sleep tonight." So he goes, and I see him in the corner with his headphones on, and he's listening to this. And I hear him, he's like, and I'm like, oh, he's done.
Uh-oh.
He's fucked.
He's done.
He finished listening to it, and I said, "I told you should." And he said, "Pierce," he said, "why didn't you tell any of us about this?" I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Pierce, this little girl's been upstairs multiple times." I said, "What?" He said, "Pierce, yes." He said, "The way you described this little girl, the blonde hair and this like Victorian sort of off-looking dress, 1800s dress with the stockings and Pierce, I've seen this girl right here in the house." Now, you both have been to the house, so you know that it's one long hallway. The rooms go in their branch off, kind of similar to yours, but a lot smaller. But I remember him saying she would always hang out right around, like either right between like the living room and the kitchen. She'd always be like in somewhere in the hallways, or sometimes she would show up in my parents' bedroom. So he confirmed that this girl would make trips upstairs. And he said this happened when he was a little boy. And he said, oh, this was about maybe, he said this was about maybe 6-7 years ago. And I said, that makes sense, because around 6-7 years ago was when I was at the peak of seeing this girl constantly downstairs in the basement. And my father overhears all this, and he's like, yeah, he said, that's why I keep that picture of Jesus near the doorway that leads from the living room to the kitchen.
Is that why that's there?
The whole house is littered with holy pictures and crucifixes, just in general. The whole house is. And he said, because every time from the time that we moved here, he said, Pierce, I've been seeing things right standing in that doorstep. He says, I think, these are my father's words, I think that door, for some reason, is a portal. These were his words. He says, because I constantly see something, I used to see things around there. That's why I put that picture up there purposely, because things would always appear there. People would always appear there. This episode, I was it was still off the chains in general. We went on some wild rides, boys, but it was honestly chilling. This was a very chilling episode. I have one last question to leave you both with. Do you have any particular goals for this Halloween season? Is there something that you would really like to do that you feel is like quintessential?
I mean, like being more, would you say festive, or is festive too tied to?
Festive works.
Yeah, like enjoy the holiday more,
In what ways? What would you like to do?
Well, so like last year, I really, really wanted to decorate the house.
Yeah.
I just never had the time.
Fair.
Like carving, which we got to do, by the way, carving pumpkins.
Oh, I'm down.
Or the
paper mache.
Paper mache pumpkins.
Let's make some paper mache pumpkins.
But yeah, I want to carve some pumpkins.
Carve some pumpkins,
I
paper
want to
mache.
decorate a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
And the best thing, which it wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago. Where we went to that party.
Yes.
It
was.
So, last year we didn't do anything, right?
No. From what I remember, no. Or
Like,
was it last year?
Like I guess.
No, it wasn't. It was not last year.
Halloween party. I just want to do a Halloween party.
I'm down.
Like Halloween party, but one where everyone is involved and everyone dresses up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I feel like going to a party, dressing up, or being one of the very few people that dress up, that's boring.
Yeah.
You know? Going to an event where everyone's taking part in it sounds like so much fun, man. Like,
well, the one that we went to, everyone did.
Was. And that's why I was like, this is so much fun.
Yes.
Like, you remember how that night ended.
Oh, that night
like,
was a wonderful night.
It was so much fun, man.
Oh, yeah. We put it this way: there were some wonderful things that happened. That again, we'll leave the spooky stuff to what we've talked about prior. We scared the audience enough.
Yeah,
truly. But what about you, Ruben? What are your goals for the spooky season?
Oh yeah, no. This year, we're turning that shit up to 11.
Ooh,
like we're going haunted houses. I know I said earlier.
Oh, yes, those two.
Yes,
haunted houses, corn mazes, pumpkin patches. Like, we're leaning full on. Like, I have not dressed up for a Halloween in I don't know how long. I cannot tell you the last time I dressed up for Halloween.
Yeah.
And I will say this. As an adult, I have never in my adult life gone to an adult Halloween party. I want to be surrounded by white girls dressed up as nurses,
yes,
cats,
yes,
witches, and Harley Quinn. That's like the 4.
Let's go.
I want to
I'm
be
going to that party
surrounded
too.
by baddies out in barely nothing, but still considered a costume.
And they're frozen.
Yup.
They're too cold.
They are, because they want to be hoes, but they really ain't hoes. They're pretenders. You gotta live that life.
I haven't been to a really cool.
I'm surprised you haven't.
I am surprised.
I was in Kentucky.
Not even
happens
in Kentucky?
I'm down for the parties. I'm down for the haunted houses. I will say I've yet to find somebody who's down to do this with me. So maybe you two may be the individuals, but I do want to at least walk through at least one cemetery.
You can do that alone.
Just for the.
I'll do that with you.
You can do it.
All right.
Respectfully.
Respectfully,
Yeah,
yes.
you both can do that. I'll be in
Respectfully.
the car.
Night.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even have to say it.
I'll be in the car.
We're going. Okay, good. Wait for us.
I might stop at a McDonald's. So
Oh no, you're gonna wait because then we're all going to eat after.
I'll go without you. Without you guys.
Well, get something to eat and then you'll eat again afterward.
Yeah, sure.
That works.
We'll go to Golden Nugget.
No, Golden Apple.
Golden Apple.
Golden Nugget, they closed all of them basically at this point. The only golden anything that's worth going to is Golden Apple.
There's a few that are open.
Not near any of the good cemeteries.
That's
No,
the
that's
one
not-
thing I
that's
miss
not-
about the South.
The Waffle House.
The Waffle House is a magical place at 3 a.m. I'll
That's why
tell
we
you
go to-
that.
So we go to Denny's.
It's not the same.
No.
Oh,
Nothing.
get out.
You know,
Denny's?
Waffle Houses are open
Hold
during
on.
like hurricanes.
He really compared Waffle House to Denny's?
That's disrespectful.
No.
I'm a
Shame
Grand
on
Slam
you.
I was
boy.
joking.
That's not nice.
No. Not nice.
Nah, dude. The Waffle Houses be open during hurricanes. It's
Yeah.
true. Look it up. They have.
No,
a
I've
whole-
seen it.
It's crazy.
It's a place for sanctuary.
It's a place, all right. It's an experience.
It is. I definitely, everything you guys all said, all the above I'm down to do, plus a cemetery. Honestly, that's basically really it. There's not much else to really do other than that.
So what you're saying is our interests have now lined up.
Finally.
We've seen Thirst Cycles.
There we go.
Nice.
So, on that note, thank you all for listening to this episode of Verda Darano. If you have made it this far, wow, you're a pretty brave individual. I'm surprised you're still here. But in this case, there's more to come this spooky season. This is only the beginning. And as we end every one of these episodes, we leave you with one very important message.
Giacor mangav tuke baktelotrom, prekotunya ripen. Till then, I wish you safe travels through the darkness.
This broadcast of Verda Darano was brought to you by the talents of Pearson Raquel Horvath, creators of Dead Scared Entertainment, with the help of Piroshka Raj. You've been listening to a production from Dead Scared Entertainment, where terror is our tradition. Good night.